Google's proper savage with it, but basically Google is right whenever they have like an ad call with you guys and they say, by the way, did you know you'd get a higher reach if you put more money into it?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah.
If you put more money into the marketing budget, you're going to get a better reach. Welcome back to the very 12th episode of a very second season. Season 2, guys, we've done a dozen. How does it feel?
Feels really good.
Okay.
Got a ball rolling, haven't we?
Yeah.
Close to the end of season 2. Excited
so.
for season 3.
Yeah.
Rob hesitated a lot just then.
No,
I'm
well,
not
I
sure
feel
why.
like we're 12 episodes in now. We're really into the groove of it, which is going to be our next episode next week.
Guys, let's do something wild, Jess. Let's ask Rob what he's been on this week first.
Rob, what have you been on this week?
This week, been finalising dates for the studio on the contractors coming in to build it. None of the listeners or viewers will get to see it on the podcast because
have we told the listeners
we've got
about
this.
them?
We have, yeah. But yeah, that starts in the next couple of weeks. We've got basically 30 days to get it all installed. Infinity wall, lighting grid, new lights, soundproofing, the whole shebang.
I just want to say, listeners can watch what's going to happen because we will be videoing it and putting it onto the tube.
Yep.
So if you go onto youtube.com/@wearebright, you'll be able to see stuff when we start popping it up.
Yep. And if you are lazy like me, just search Bright with 2 eyes. We'll also pop up.
Feels like more work.
Either way, they'll find us.
Yeah.
But that's been taking a lot of my time, apart from the day-to-day, being brilliant for clients, marketing and stuff like that. What have you been on, Drew?
Basically been sorting stuff with the studio rebuild as well. Studio refit, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Jess, what have you been on?
A lot of the day-to-day work for clients and internal stuff, but also just looking through internal content and making the most out of the content we've already filmed, and putting a bit of a process in place for future content. We've nearly finished the second season of BriightCast, so we've got sort of 2 seasons of episodes in the bank. So sort of going back through and pulling shorts and reels and cut downs.
Yeah.
We did it in the past. We did it in the first edits, but it's sort of going back and pulling even more content. So rather than it being
I think
2
when
or
we
3
started,
shorts.
we were like, it'd be great if from this, half an hour, 40-minute long piece, we could get 3 or 4 really solid shorts. And then I went through the last episode and pulled about 20, and I was like, oh man, everything I say is so good. And you guys laugh as well. We can keep cutting to you guys laughing at the jokes and things I say. And they just work well. So
you're not funny and nobody likes you.
The laughs are from other parts of a pod, though, aren't they? Because I noticed on one of the video ones we put out, we were wearing different clothes when it cut to me and Jess.
I mean, it's editing, but we explain that in the captions.
Okay.
Yeah.
The beauty of editing. Just stretching content out as much as we can. Basically doing what we tell clients to do for ourselves, spending a bit of time on our own content and
practice what we preach.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is cool.
Nice. Shall we dive into the meat of it?
Yes. And what's nice about this is now the dust has settled a little bit on Barbenheimer. It's because it touches on that, but it's about appropriately budgeting for your marketing and the execution.
It kind of leads on a little bit nicely from last episode when it comes to prioritization.
Yeah.
And it kind of looks at the importance of having an appropriate budget, but also understanding what you can get for your budget and how prioritizing different things within that budget is crucial.
Yeah.
And I think the Barbie movie sets like an unrealistic standard for marketing and sets that bar really high for businesses. But I just mean like I've seen so many posts being like, I wish we could be as big as the Barbie movie and have as much impact as the Barbie movie. And
it's things like people are forgetting that it's been iconic for 70 years or however long it's been, and things like that.
The people it's positioned for aren't kids; they're the people that grew up with
built
Barbie.
in the nostalgia and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but there are some principles and things to
yeah.
touch on that people aren't talking about as much. So I think the main part to focus on for me that's been missed is how they've budgeted appropriately for marketing.
Yeah.
Right. So in the world of Hollywood, if you read anything by Box Office Mojo or something like that, they discuss how a blockbuster, when it gets to like 100 million or beyond, they need to make double their money to break even. And that's because they know they pump at least, the same amount into their marketing to get it out there. So, Fast and the Furious cost 200 million. They put at least that in the marketing. So you see it everywhere, the media spend, all the guest spots. And with Barbie, it seems even more disproportionate because the rumored budget is between 100 million and 130. But then the early reports was it needs to make 300 million to break even. And it has done. It's done incredibly well. But they invested basically 150% of the same amount of money into the distribution and marketing. And the parallel I want to bring is we have so many people who come to us, if it's just for, not for marketing, but just for a video project, and they've spent, 200 grand developing an app or this new service or new products and things, and their budget is unreasonably low. It's like, oh, we want to do it for, £2,000. What can we do?
Yeah.
And it just seems like a real disconnect in how much they're wanting to put into the actual end goal, really, of the marketing.
I think marketing sometimes is an afterthought when it comes to things like that, because an app or a new service is usually done through obviously like the business development side of the company, or it's those top level directors or people like managing directors, people that are actually running the sort of top level of the business.
Yeah.
And then once they've created this thing, they're like, we need some marketing to go alongside it. We need money back for this product.
Yeah.
Whereas it should be the other way around. It should be within that initial conversation, we're putting this much into creating the app. This is how much ROI we need back.
Yeah.
How are we going to get that?
Yeah.
And then actually look at data, look at the figures of how many clicks you could get for a certain budget. How many of those clicks do you historically convert? How many of those conversions then turn into actual customers? And how much is each customer worth? Like look at it on a lifetime value rather than they're saying, oh, we'll just pluck $2,000 here, let's make some money.
Yeah.
It needs to sort of, and it will be for the Barbie movie, there would have been this, like, they won't have just been like, oh, we're just going to give some money to Burger King for this ad they're going to do. We're going to spend like 5 million or something it was to get the Google like confetti thing that they did. Like there's so many things, there's reasons that they've done all of those different things.
Yeah.
And it isn't that afterthought. It is kind of like that strategy at the start of everything.
Yeah, they've had that bigger plan laid out for a while.
Yeah.
And they needed those touch points. I was reading recently, because it used to be 7 digital touch points before, you make a purchase or something like that. But I was listening to a podcast this morning with The Future, and it was referring to a guy's research, and it's actually something like 10.7, so basically 11 touch points, which is, Barbie nailed it. And it was there from the plan. And
the touch points are unconventional as well. So the Burger King thing that I mentioned, people won't necessarily be like, oh, the Barbie movie, and then connect it to Burger King, or can't remember off the top of my head loads of things, but it was like billboards in like London and New York and things.
Yeah, yeah.
They're walking down the street. It's that like touch point, which that isn't obviously unconventional, but it's having that touch point that isn't just an ad or them promoting the trailer or an image of Margot Robbie. It's just those other touch points that are kind of in your everyday life.
Well, those location ones. So I think it's like 10.6 or 10.7 digital ones. But then you can actually just do 4 location touch points. So if you see them in different areas of your life, then that has a bigger effect on you. So they're hitting that as well. But how do we deal with it when someone comes to us for a video and they've just got an unrealistically low budget for, what they're wanting to achieve?
We say, no, thank you. Goodbye.
Yeah, we say, not for that amount. Or we say, that's not going to achieve what you want to achieve, I guess, is the real thing. Yeah,
we just try and figure out why it is that tiny amount. But also, we don't really get it that much anymore anyway, where people come to us with ridiculously small amounts, and if they do, we're very good at spotting it really quickly and nipping it in the bud.
Yeah. I think an extension of the modern way now is more if they think all they need to do is have a video made.
Yeah. A lot of times it's the idea of just one video, one cheap video, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've got a project at the moment we're doing, and they've had a couple of projects in the past which are super low budget ones which have failed.
Yeah.
They're going to understand that paying paying pennies to people who don't really know how to achieve the aims in a video or how to achieve a certain person's goals, they're going to know that that's not the best way of investing in video.
Yeah.
So they've come to us and we're paying a bit more. But I think the ways we would like sort it with a client if they came to us with an unrealistically low budget to do video would be to dive into the questions, trying to figure out why that's their budget, what they think they're going to achieve with it.
Yeah.
Setting realistic expectations.
Yeah.
By saying that, obviously, just from a practical point of view, saying no, this budget is too low, but also you're going to need to invest more. You're going to need to put more money into it.
It's making them understand why.
Yeah.
There's more value in investing more, isn't it?
If it's a brand new company that's never done any video stuff before, it's a little trickier because they have literally nothing to milestone it, frame of reference yet. Whereas if they've done stuff before, you can find stuff out. You can ask, what was the last video project you paid for? How well did it do?
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes you're going to get people who pay nothing and it does really, really well. But it's a very, very rare case.
Yeah, and I think as well we've got better, especially because we bridge a lot more of the strategy side in, but better at walking them through the value conversation. Okay, you sell your product or service for this much, which means you want to generate this many new leads that you can accommodate, convert this many people. So this all filters back to you should be investing around this much into marketing, really.
It's also looking at the strategy plan in terms of where you're allocating budget. There's been times where clients have come to us and they've had this marketing pot and they've just been like throwing it in different directions and not necessarily putting enough in any pot, but just kind of being like, we'll test this for £1,000 and put £2,000 in here. And their overall budget's decent. But then it leads to just like resources being missed or resources being stretched too thin or missed opportunities. And then the budget's just being wasted. So it's kind of, there's no point in, without having this strategy in place and having those goals that you're expecting to reach, you're just kind of throwing budget willy-nilly everywhere.
I feel like I'm on a bit of a savage streak at the moment because I had a little rant in the last pod. I don't even know if it's going to make it in, but let's find out.
Yeah.
But I also think the other side of it is like when clients come to you from video, from any side, and the first thing they say is, obviously, we don't have much money to do this.
Yeah.
Immediately, it's like, that isn't our problem. It's not our problem that you don't have much money to do this, because you do have the money to do it. Secondly, it's like you've invested lots to do this service, to create this product that you are selling.
Yeah.
You know that it's doing well enough for you now to widen up your marketing exploits and look at different avenues. You definitely can put that money in. But my point is with the, it's not our problem. It's just, if clients have this tiny, tiny budget, it's not going to work for them as well as they think it's going to work.
Yeah.
And it's not our issue to make up the loss, like to put extra effort in to create more stuff for them. Or we're never going to say to a client, if they come to us and they say, we've not got much money, and we say, that's fine. This tiny amount of money you want to spend on this, we can create a really good thing for you. Yeah. Because we probably can't. Because we probably can't afford ourselves to put the amount of time in we would need to create that to make it a success.
Yeah, yeah.
So all we'd be doing is just taking this tiny bit of money from them to basically give them nothing of value in return.
Yeah.
Which then it is the waste of budget, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's some companies will definitely do it. Yeah, where they're just like, we can't really give them what they need. What they need really is, let's say it's like, full marketing campaign. Maybe it's like several like awareness videos, a couple of like tutorials on how to use it. Maybe some like aftercare content or something. For let's say it's like a product. We can't do all that. That's what we need. Let's just create this one little video and we'll put in a few different messages and stuff. It's not going to do them any favors. So like, it's not our, like when I'm saying it's not our problem, I don't mean it from like a key point of view. Yeah. But it's like we can't help certain people if the budget's too low. And we could just take the money and give them something and it not mean anything. Yeah. But we're not going to do that because we're not.
Marketing and content production's tough at the best of times, but if your hands are tied behind your back, constrained by this tiny amount of money, you just can't do it.
Google's proper savage with it, but basically Google is right whenever they have like an ad call with you guys and they say, by the way, did you know you'd get a higher reach if you put more money into it? That's how it works. If you put more money into the marketing budget to create content for your marketing, create content, create campaigns, create strategies, you're going to get a better reach.
I think
that is just it.
Part of the issue is, and it's similar with like the Barbie thing, everyone's loving that they put up a billboard that's just pink and had the date on it. And everyone's like, that's Barbie, because it's so iconic and stuff. But it feels like a lo-fi move, similar to, you know, Thursday with their billboards, or, you know, something shave something.
Yeah, kind of. I think it's also, it probably feels a little bit more similar to Ryan Reynolds saying anything. It is Barbie.
Yeah,
it's a massive, massive. Do you know what I mean? Like IP. It's a huge. It's a huge brand. They can do anything. I think the first thing they ever shared for it was at a Comic-Con or something, right? And it was just a picture of Barbie in the Barbie-mobile in Barbie Land. It's just that, and everyone went mental for it.
Yeah.
And then they said that they're doing it's like a breadcrumb marketing strategy for it. So they're scattering a couple of things, you know, raise interest and stuff in it.
Yeah.
But they can do that because it's Barbie.
That's why I say it sets unrealistic expectations, because Barbie could have put anything out there.
Yeah.
They could have also marketed nothing and it performed well. But obviously their marketing campaigns performed amazingly and obviously increased everything that they've done. But it is Barbie. Like, if we put a pink billboard out with a wonky shape on it and one of our like Brights, which are our little emojis, and said, oh, no one's necessarily going to recognize it's Bright. If we did it in Derby, then yes, like locally or people that know us. But if you put that in like in the middle of London.
Yeah. And with the Barbie thing, like, my point is, it feels like a lo-fi genius move, but then you realize it's because it's Barbie and other people can't achieve that. But then there are a few outliers out there that I think people have in their mind and it's like the shave company we're not allowed to mention, who it was like less than $5,000, went viral. They ended up selling, you know, basically $1 million overnight or whatever it was. There's enough of those that for some people you come up against that notion, don't you?
Yeah. And I think if you want other examples of that kind of success, a really good website to go on to see that aspirational, inspirational type of success is to go on thenationallottery.com, and you can look at all the other lottery winners who won big by buying a ticket, because that's basically the same thing. I think Taylor Swift said it, not to quote Taylor Swift, but she said something where it was like, people want to emulate her success. It's like she basically just won the lottery. Yeah. Like, it's so difficult to recreate those things. We can put anything, all the like the vibe and everything into the dollar. Yeah. But from that, I've said it again, but from that video into a client's video, but it's not going to give them the same success necessarily, because it all relies on what is that company's product. It was a really simple product, so it's a simple ad for it, so it worked really well. Yeah. It's also a sign of like the times, because there wasn't that kind of content around at that point, really, to that extent. Now everyone's dollar shaving,
it can be,
or at least they've calmed down now, because it's like,
it quickly becomes derivative, so you wouldn't stand out in the same way anyway doing that. But also, if there's an agency that can promise that, then they're not just going to accept $5,000. They're going to be like, well, we can promise that you're going to sell, you know, £1 million worth, so it's going to be $100,000.
Here's the thing though, we have done similar things. We did a thing for a client ages ago where it was a really like low spec brief, small budget project. Yeah. And off the back of it, they made like a mid 6 figures. Yeah. And then off the back of that, they've carried on making like 7 figures, like every year on year, basically. Yeah. It's not off the back of that video, but the video was a key contributor to that initial success. Like they probably would have got to this stage in spite of the video, eventually, but they wouldn't have got to it at that speed. I don't think it was a. And then
if you consider in that year the number of projects we worked on at a similar scope as well, it's like they all did well and was very profitable, but not in the same way.
Let's Blazing Squad it for a second. Let's flip reverse it, and let's just say that although we're saying that, you know, companies or brands like Barbie can do stuff like breadcrumb marketing really easily because they already have such an amount of like interest in their brand already. Yeah. Smaller companies can still do that. We're not saying you can't do breadcrumb marketing. It will just be harder because you don't have all the existing like IP and brand and whatnot around you. But you can still do that. Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
But I think moving on, I think it'd be good to talk about the importance of good budgets within marketing. Why it's important, how to find them.
I guess so far we've talked about launches, right? You've got a product, you've got a service launching. Now you should know really going into the year or into when you're far into development of the service or of the product, even if it's quite a quick turnaround of a service or you're productizing a service, you got to know that's coming up so you can start looking at your budget for the year and be like, well, what do we need to spend and running those things? But also just companies should have marketing budget.
Yeah. It was kind of the point that Drew made earlier in terms of you've spent all this money on a service. It's almost as if you've got to forget about that money. Not in the essence of like that money's spent and you definitely need to get like the ROI of the marketing and like you're not losing out on money in business. But I mean, businesses sometimes look at that and then be like, oh, we only have $5,000 left for marketing.
Yeah.
It needs to be.
Or they should look at it as we're about to waste $100,000 if we don't put marketing budget in to match it.
That was the thing of like
get it in people.
You could have a small marketing budget being like, oh, this is what we've got left because we've spent this amount of money on this new service or product.
Yeah,
they're just gonna if you spent $20,000 on a new product, you're not gonna get that back if you don't market well. You're not gonna get that back if you don't sell it well enough.
To give it another like current example, so obviously there's the big like writers actors strikes at the moment happening worldwide. And then there's the new Mission Impossible film, massive budget film.
Yeah.
It will have a big marketing campaign behind it.
Yep.
But a lot of the marketing campaign for films is obviously the like press junkets.
Yes.
And the main actors, especially someone like Tom Cruise, talking about it.
Yeah.
Because of the strikes, they can't do that. And Tom Cruise has asked if he can have like a waiver so he can talk about it. So go against, like basically cross the picket line. And talk about the film because he doesn't want it to lose money. So there's an example of Mission Impossible, massive franchise, massive IP. Tom Cruise, one of the most well-known actors in the world ever. And he's having to like cross this picket line to talk about his film so the film doesn't lose money because like to boost its marketing efforts because it's not getting enough marketing behind it. Yeah. So if you're a small firm out there and you're not putting as much marketing efforts as you possibly can into it, why do you think you're going to succeed, but Tom Cruise isn't? Like you're against Tom. Do you know what I mean? Like that's a really like high level example of showing you that you have to keep putting marketing efforts into it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, your marketing just becomes Mission Impossible. Ghost Protocol 2.
And I think with the movies and the examples we've used, they're all launching a product or a service, and you should be able to forecast that. You know it's coming up. But also for your ongoing marketing, you should have a marketing budget, right? It's an important thing to have. What sort of advice would we give to people on how to set a marketing budget?
A rule of thumb I think people should have is look at how much profit you want to make from that thing. Look at how much, say, and even taking it back a step, say if you want 100 new customers from this new launch or this marketing campaign or whatever it is, each customer has a value of £1,000. That's £100,000. Immediately, the minimum amount of money you should be putting in to get those people is 10% of that marketing. So £10,000 to then make basically £90,000 on that custom.
And I think when you do top line stuff like that, it's understanding all the costs and the outgoings of marketing. So it's not just hiring the firm and then we're going to pay that monthly or that's your ad spend or whatever. It's all of those things and your internal time and resources as well.
Yeah, and obviously the more money you put in, the better outcome you're going to get. The more the 100 you set out to get, if you put 20,000 in, there's a possibility of getting 200 new customers and things like that. So you shouldn't also, if you could put more money in, don't necessarily cap it because I should put 10% in. Because the more money you put in, the more you're going to get out of it. So the ROI is still going to be there. But I think that's sort of a nice rule of thumb. Sometimes it's different depending on the client. Obviously, that's looking at each customer being worth £1,000. Some clients we work with, a customer can be worth £250,000. So
or £200.
It completely depends.
Yeah.
Completely depends on the amount that you're sort of after.
We had a meeting with an ads client and it was really fun to just run through the numbers because we'd been running it for about 3 months to get some data and optimized, and we're at a point now where we thought we could scale. And it was really cool to walk him through the numbers. It was like, okay, currently doing this. If we increase the spend to this, proportionately, I think it was like £18 per conversion for an inquiry. And they were then converting 1 in 3, and then it was worth this. And he just ran through the numbers, and then he went, yeah, that's our £1 million turnover. And it was like, cool, we'll scale to that amount then.
I think that's
and
also,
we'll see how that goes.
And I think that's another tip that we've worked with clients in the past where they keep things like that private. And the amount of times we've asked them, like, how many people are you converting? How much is each of those worth? Like lifetime values. Because things like that is invaluable to a marketing agency, because then you can work out the ROI, you can work out scalability. And if you doubled budgets, how much that would be for the client. And it's just forecasting. Whereas in the past, when we've had people sort of hide those figures, it's just kind of, we're picking budgets out of thin air at that point, because it's how much is a customer worth, then how much do we need to be bidding to get that customer. And
it's much easier if they're transparent. Equally, if they've got a really good, CMO or someone in place, they know all that and they come to you. But the difference is they're coming to you with a realistic budget, realistic objectives already, because they're that informed. Yeah. But if they're not, we'll help them. But they've got to be transparent about it, right?
Okay, cool. Well, let's bring us home.
Well, the big takeaways are, yes, listen to all those Barbie marketing principles. They did some genius stuff, but know that they budgeted appropriately to execute those marketing plans.
Yeah, it's breadcrumb marketing with $100 million.
Yeah.
And also to point out that they put $100 million in.
Yeah.
And in the opening weekend, I think it grossed 337 million. So it immediately was a profitable profitable move.
Yeah, they didn't just throw money at it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend that to anyone. It's work out what money you need to do to get that return that you're looking for.
I'd say have a strategy in place and have the KPIs to track the budget you're setting.
Yeah.
And just allow yourself scalability. If you as a company can't afford to necessarily put that 10% in straight away, or put the budget you necessarily think that product or service or whatever it is you think it needs, put that small amount in and then scale when possible and where possible.
Reinvestment, isn't it, in those early days? Yeah. Definitely. And I think, just put your money where your mouth is.
Just on the off chance that the creators of the Cindy, the less loved Cindy doll, are listening, maybe you don't have to put 100 million in.
No. And if you were the producers on those awful straight to DVD Bratz videos that I used to have to watch with sisters, look at what you could have been doing with Barbie.
What next? Polly Pocket?
What's the hate on Bratz?
No hate. They should have invested more in the product and in the marketing.
Tangent, the Bratz movie has some amazing scenes in it.
Yeah.
It's just pure madness.
Yes, yeah.
But it doesn't make any sense.
The movie went to cinema, but it came out after the Bratz hype.
Yeah, but then they did hundreds of straight-to-DVD stuff.
Did they?
I think so, yeah.
Anyway.
So next time we're going to watch all of the Bratz movies, I guess. See you later.
Lessons.